What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk to you about Warhammer 40k. More specifically, Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. We are about a month away from the long-awaited sequel to the first Space Marine game that debuted oh so many years ago. Now, I remember playing it back then, and it basically was like Gears of War, but with that 40k skin, the lore, the looks, the brutality of it all, and it was amazing. More so that you also could play multiplayer on it. So what I'm showing you here is footage from the multiplayer trailer that I believe at this point came out 2 days ago. So if you're trying to avoid spoilers, unfortunately this whole video will be a spoiler. But basically what I'm here to do is kind of catch you up. It happened in between Space Marine 1 and Space Marine 2 before we dive into this awesome game. Now, from what I've seen, a lot of people had already gotten a chance to play up to like 40 hours of the game. So I'm pretty sure if you wanted to, you can find out the entire lore of Space Marine 2. You could find clips on probably the whole game by now. But if it was me, I'm gonna stay away from that stuff and wait to play it, for my own self and enjoy the lore as it comes to me and hopefully not get spoiled. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and dive into this video. So here we have Inquisitor Thrax, who is the one that apprehended Titus at the end of the first game, who overall just has a grudge on Space Marines. He basically sees them as a liability to the Imperium, and he was part of the Inquisitional agents which declared Huron Blackheart and the Maelstrom Wanderers excommunicate traitores during the Bad Ab War. So as you can see, if you're not aware of the Bad Ab War, it's basically Blackheart taking a portion of Imperial space and declaring himself basically king, lord of that area, stopped giving tithes to the Imperium and just said, hey, this is mine and I'm defecting. This led to a pretty epic civil war, and eventually he was defeated, but he turned to the side of chaos, and so did a bunch of other Space Marines. So as you can see, the Inquisitor has reason to be wary of Space Marines. So during this whole time, he had Titus tortured and interrogated for years with no intention of ever letting him go, and he would keep him in stasis after interrogations to basically force him to confess to falling to chaos. However, the Inquisitor Thrax ended up dying during an operation against a traitor chapter, and he was possessed by a chaos demon. However, he was purged by the Grey Knights. So here we see the Grey Knights making their appearance once again, very rarely, but when they do, they make quite an epic impact. So the Inquisition then sent the Red Hunters to investigate Thrax's holdings to make sure that he wasn't just being possessed at that time and he was doing other things during his life, and that's when they find Titus and a bunch of other Astartes who had been imprisoned and tortured by him as well. The Inquisition then transferred the recovered Astartes to the Deathwatch, allowing its chaplains to be the ones to interrogate them and test their loyalty once and for all. Titus was found free from the Chaos Taint. Titus then asked about his Ultramarine brethren, and the Deathwatch revealed to him that there were no records of him ever joining the Ultramarines. Titus then interpreted this to have been that he was censured as a disgrace to the chapter, so in grief he declared himself a Black Shield and joined the Deathwatch. Serving in the Deathwatch, he and his fellow Astartes were deployed against the Tyranids as part of the Fourth Tyrannic War. During one disastrous operation, Titus's company was fully wiped out, and Titus was gravely wounded after taking down a Carnifex. He was beyond saving, resigning himself to finally die in the service of the Emperor. And this is when the Ultramarines' first company, which was led by Captain Severus and Chief Librarian Tigurius, arrived to save Titus. During warp travel, Tigurius felt the soul of an Ultramarine dying, and when he extended his ultrasensory perception, he recognized that it was Titus. Tigurius personally knew Titus from back when he was in the Second Company, and they immediately initiated a rescue operation for him. Titus was rescued at the nick of time, and to save his life, he was immediately taken into surgery to perform the Rubicon Primaris on him. Titus miraculously survived the operation and is now a Primaris Space Marine. Lo and behold, Tigurius also revealed to Titus that for years, Marnius Calgar, the chapter master of the Ultramarines, furiously protested against the Inquisition and demanded that Titus be released back into the Ultramarines. The reason that Titus's name had been erased from the Ultramarines records was not out of censure of Titus, but out of shame that the chapter had so disastrously failed one of their own. Titus was never seen as a disgrace by Calgar or the high leadership of the chapter, and he is welcomed back into the fold of the Ultramarines with full honors, him having declared himself a Black Shield being fully disregarded, and his service in the Deathwatch considered as faithfully serving the Ultramarines for all his time. As Cato Sicarius is currently serving as a 2nd Company captain with distinction, Titus is not given back his old position, but in deference to his service and loyalty, he is still given back officer rank as Primaris Lieutenant. And this is where we begin, Space Marine 2. So this is a lot of interesting things that has been dropped in the White Dwarf article. Titus has been interrogated and tortured for years, and it turns out that this Inquisitor has fallen to chaos, but he was rescued, and through his trials and tribulations, the man fought against Tyranids, the dude became a Black Shield, worked under the Deathwatch, made his way back to his home chapter of the Ultramarines, and survived becoming a Primaris Space Marine. A lot of epicness for this awesome captain, and I can't wait to see what we get to fight against in this awesome new Space Marine video game. Whew, I know for one, the Tyranids are going to be pretty badass. They're going to be essentially what the Orcs were in the first game, so just hordes of Xenos that you're fighting through. And then eventually we're going to be fighting against, I believe it's the 1,000 Suns, so fingers crossed that maybe we'll cross paths with Magnus the Red, and perhaps we get to see an epic clash between, do I say it, Roboute Guilliman and Magnus the Red. Oh man, that's going to be so epic. I cannot wait to see what we have in store in this game. But that's all I got for today, guys. So let me know how excited you are in the comments. And let me know if you're going to be picking up this game. Because, I mean, what 40k player is not? But, as I said, that's all I got for today. Thank you for watching, listening, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.